What was the worst experience?
Oh boy. Well, I called Gabe.
Oh,
You're like, Gabe, I'm dying.
what
am I doing?
My blood. There's blood in the walls.
Right, but it's
I was at like a family dinner and you were calling me like, dude, I need help. You
Yeah.
need to come over. I was like, I cannot. And you're like, can we talk?
Yeah.
And so I just like walked around outside for like half an hour at like when I was at a family dinner.
I'm sorry.
I don't care. It was like in hindsight, it's the funniest thing. But like in the moment, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
But it was like about 2 years ago, and I had taken him alone before, so I thought I was fine. But what had happened was this
I
was
don't
the
remember
second
the story.
this was the second day in a row that I did it,
Oh yeah.
and so I thought like you have a tolerance and that like you can take a whole bunch and you won't even like nothing will happen. So I thought I had to take a whole bunch to feel anything. And so
No research.
It didn't. I just took a whole bunch and I felt all of it. I took like 400 UGs of acid.
The
And
walls.
so like
the walls
I,
are talking to me.
I felt it coming on like way too strong and too fast, and I was like, I didn't know how much I really took. I didn't really. I had gotten too comfortable with it, and I just kind of took like an indiscriminate amount. But I was in it. I was already like rise. I felt it. You can. It's like when you get put under with anesthesia. How like the sound kind of drops out, and you just kind of feel yourself like rising, and like you don't know how high you're gonna go. I thought I was gonna like die. I know acid can't kill you, but like you can have an ego death where you kind of pass out, and like you feel what it's like to die. You feel yourself kind of losing grips with consciousness, but like not like going to sleep at all. It's different. And so I was like, Gabe can help me.
Yeah.
He can pull me out of it. And
I don't remember what we talked. I remember I was talking to you for a while.
I talked about just how like disappointed I was in myself that like this is like how I'm spending a Thursday night.
I was really confused about what was going on.
Yeah, I was just kind of babbling.
You
like
just
an
called
idiot.
me and were like, I'm really high. We need to talk. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. And then I called my mom after you kind of had to go or something. And
Yeah.
then my mom came and got me and took me over to the apartment. And that was
I remember I texted you. I was like, how you doing? You're like, my mom got me. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
That was a whole nother can of worms being over there with my mom
Yeah.
and my stepdad, Ricky,
Oh, Ricky.
who has like face tattoos and he's like going to jail.
Is he still going to jail?
He's in jail now.
Oh, okay.
But he was in the process of going to jail at the time. He had like wasn't going to his court dates or something, and the cops were supposed to like show up any minute. It was the worst vibes, to say the least.
Fuck.
Like I was having trouble with my mom at the time. And, like,
How's she doing?
but
now?
they
She's
were like
still-
they were my saviors, and that my mom's okay now. Her and Maggie are chilling at this place.
Nice.
It's all right. But so they came and got me, and I was in the car on acid for the first time, and it was sunset, and it was very beautiful, but horrifying how fast it was. Like a roller coaster that doesn't have tracks, and it's controlled by a human. It's very scary, and so the car ride was nuts as shit. And then we got to the apartment, and something about acid is just like you know what, those liminal space pictures, how they make you nostalgic and stuff, right? Like, does that work with you guys?
Yeah.
Like, we all share that for some reason. It's like your subconscious or like nostalgia from childhood or something. But on acid, it's like everything you look at is like that. That would be like the best way to describe acid to me. Like visually, at least. Besides everything is also squirming around and slowly swelling, and it's insane. But like I'd only done like 200 milligrams or whatever or something, so this was double anything I had ever experienced. And just you've all been to my mom's apartment, right?
Yeah.
How just colorful and strange it is in there. I was sitting in an office chair, and there was this rug on my feet, and it was like, the rug was like a surfboard, and I was like like sitting on the surfboard and just like surfing through the world of my mom's apartment. It sounds so dumb, but you know what I'm talking about.
You can't explain it without sounding like psycho.
You can kind of picture what I'm going through. And I was kind of having fun for a second. I was like, okay, I can get used to this. And then I started like dying. I started having an ego death. I'm like, it's just hard to talk about.
Do you want to talk about your best experience?
I'm not done.
What's the worst?
I mean, I don't remember it all exactly, but like imagine how scary it would be to like if you were just you ever read Flowers for Algernon?
Yes.
You ever read that? Well, how like he's just becoming retarded
Yeah.
and like he can't stop it. That's
And, like, he's aware of it.
yeah. You're like smart, but you can't control. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
It's awful. I don't know how people do this for fun. Ego deaths.
No way anyone has ever done for fun.
Yeah.
It's just like an unfortunate side product.
But like, what did I tell you after I sent you a text when I was kind of coming down afterward? That like you were like, that's scary as fuck. You were like, what did you learn or something? And I was like, that I don't appreciate the moment enough. And then the acid was like, well, how about I take the moment away from you? Will you appreciate it then?
Damn.
Would you say you learned to appreciate the moment more?
Fuck yeah, I did.
Okay,
I was
well.
like, it helped me understand that like we spend our whole lives kind of waiting for something to happen, but that's not how it works at all. It's all about just like right now your conscious body moving through space and how that feels. That's if you can appreciate that, that's as good as it's gonna get really for your whole life.
Yeah, I think we're always like planning for like, oh, once I have this then I'll be happy, or like I need to work towards this and I'll be happy. And like planning for happiness in the future takes away from your like current happiness.
Yeah. It helped
That's
me
kinda what you're talking about?
it helped me kind of understand that life's not a problem to be solved, but more of a reality to be experienced.
Yeah, it's experience your emotions, experience like the environment around you.
Yeah. It's almost like a game.
Kinda, yeah.
It's for entertainment. It's like you develop yourself enough to like see humor and darkness and just like be entertained by life. There's an Alan Watts quote that's like, man suffers because he takes seriously what the gods made for fun. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anyway, the best time,
The best.
that's another thing you can't really describe. Everything's just so beautiful. And
You can't,
meaningful.
yeah. How could you put that into words?
It makes you want to cry how beautiful just the drywall is and stuff. But then what's cool about it is after you're done tripping, you can imagine what life would be like if you were, and that never leaves you. So it's like it leaves you with this deep appreciation for everything. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. Like the bad experiences, I would not take it back at all.
I mean, yeah, I think it's a good learning experience, like even if it teaches you a scary lesson or whatever. I don't know. I don't know really the first thing about it, so I can't really talk about it so much.
Again. I'd never do it ever again, but I would not take any of it back.
Yeah, I think that's obviously a very unique experience.
And I think it's worth it, no matter how scared you are. Even a bad trip's gonna be one of the most like important moments of your life. I really believe that. And it's not gonna be bad the whole time. Like, I was having one of the worst trips you can have, where you're like fight or flight panic and you're freaking out, but you calm down. You don't just stay like that for hours and hours. Like you get a good chunk of the time where you're just in ecstasy.
Do you
That's
have
just the
like
best.
a lasting like anxiety after it? Like
Definitely.
after you calm down? Okay.
Definitely, but I don't think that wasn't still there. Wouldn't still be there anyway. Like, I think it just it helps you see things that you may not have seen about yourself otherwise. Like, I think I was just an intensely anxious person anyway. I don't know. I definitely think it fucked me up, but not as much as it made me feel happier. I'm really glad that I abused psychedelics. And that's my story. That's his penis clapping against his thighs.
Yeah, I was. That's my ass cheeks jiggling.